Hello there. We are looking at the early republic. And this lecture, it's a little bit longer than some other ones. When I meet in class, this one usually takes me like a class and maybe a half. So just to kind of maybe so you know in terms of your pacing as you're working on this. Okay, so first thing we have here is Alexander Hamilton is a Federalist. You don't know that yet, but you're gonna know that in just a moment. Alexander Hamilton as a Federalist, and then the Democratic Republicans under Jefferson. And so what we want to do here in this first bit is they've written the Constitution. Now they gotta like figure out how to like make this work, right? And everybody's got a different idea. Like even though the Constitution was written up, one set of people thinks that the country needs to go this way, other group of people wants the country to go this way, and they're all really vested in it because they wrote the founding documents, they fought in the war. And so we'll talk about I'll start off with the Secretary of Treasury Hamilton and his ideas about where the country should head in terms of being a little bit more industrial, a little bit more economic independence from England, as opposed to say like the Democratic Republicans under Jefferson, who think the future of the country rests with these small farms, owning a piece of your land. I've got a great, it's like a PDF file that I found online of somebody that kind of like outlines the two different ways that these parties think of things. And again, of course, the key is that the founding fathers didn't think there was going to be political parties, and that happened kind of rather quickly. So that's the first thing you're looking at there. Also connected with that is going to be the Whiskey Rebellion. That's just a little bit, that's also connected to kind of those differing ways of kind of interpreting the future of the country. And then the Alien and Sedition Acts is the next term. I don't use the word alien unless I'm, talking about blockbuster films with creatures from outer space. But this is the word that's used at this time to talk about people that are coming into the country. So that's the name of the legislation, not my word. And so the Alien and Sedition Acts, we got some background to get there. To set up the Alien and Sedition Acts, first I gotta tell you about the Jay Treaty. Then that's gonna connect to the XYZ affair, and that's gonna lead us to the Alien and Sedition Acts. So they're kind of all connected. And then the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions are going to be a response to those Alien and Sedition Acts. So those things are kind of all connected to each other. And then the last couple of things that we have here, there's this word liberty that's getting thrown around a lot, right? I mean, it's still, revolutionary, coming out of that revolutionary era. Many of these people fought in the war, or they drafted those founding documents. There's going to be a revolution in Haiti. Well, it's Saint Dominique at the time, but then it's going to be Haiti. And that's going to, send some shock waves through the United States. And we'll talk about in the United States in 1800, there's a rebellion among the enslaved led by a man named Gabriel. And the connection there is the cotton gin. Gin is a short word for engine. And so we'll see that connection because certainly they're fighting for liberty. And meanwhile, Jefferson's gonna want to craft like what he calls an empire for liberty. And he's gonna do this by purchasing the Louisiana Territory from the French. And Louisiana Territory is not just like, as you know, the state of Louisiana, but it's gonna double the size of our country. This is huge. So that's pretty significant. And then that's also going to have some like connections to the War of 1812 that we're going to end up with. But connected to that War of 1812 is also, or significant to the War of 1812 is also policies with Native American peoples. And that is Tecumseh is going to be significant to that conversation. Prophet as well, but Tecumseh is kind of the key person there. He's going to put forward the idea of Pan-Indian Alliance that all Native peoples should unite as Native Americans, not as members of different nations. And that's really a new concept. I shouldn't say that's a new concept. Scratch that. I mean, we saw uniting under the Iroquois with the Constitution, but it is unique to put forward this idea of uniting as Native Americans, not as members of specific nations. And that's something that Tecumseh is going to propose. All right. So again, hopefully this introduction has kind of like helped you think about, you know, kind of what to look for in those terms. If you've got any questions, you can always put those in the discussion board or send me an email. Take care.